Hey there, friends. Today, we'll be going over grapes and everything you need to know about them, including their nutrition, life cycle, history, and so much more.
Timestamps are down below. Let's get into it. First, let us examine what a grape is. It's a green, purple, sometimes red, globular, fleshy ball of goodness the size of about a thumb. They are of the genus Vitis, which just means that they grow on vines, and botanically they're classified as a berry. Overall, they're the fifth most produced fruit in the world. Moving on to nutrition, grapes are about 81% water, 18% carbohydrates, and 1% protein, along with a negligible amount of fat. They boost a moderate amount of vitamin K, some vitamin C, calcium, phosphorus, potassium, and magnesium. Vitamin K is pretty cool because it helps your blood clot properly. Grapes also contain antioxidants such as resveratrol. Antioxidants help protect your cells against free radicals. And being a fruit, of course, they're high in fiber. And this helps keep things moving in your digestive system. All this being said, a 100-gram serving of grapes, which is about 12 to 18 grapes depending on the type or cultivar, will give you about 75 calories and 14% of your daily vitamin K intake. Now let's talk about the life cycle of grapes. They have a perennial life cycle, which just means that they start to grow during the spring and then die back down during the autumn and winter. Grape wines do flower, and it takes about 150 to 160 days for these flowers to mature into ripe fruit.
I'm about ready to go get some grapes myself, but we still have so much to learn.
Let's now jump into the different cultivars or types of grapes that have proliferated in our world.
A cultivar is essentially just a plant variety that has been created in cultivation based off of desirable traits like taste, color, shelf life, and other factors that make them more successful financially.
The major cultivar of green grapes is the Thompson seedless. And yup, you guessed it, this grape was cultivated to not have a seed, and all of this was done by a guy named Thompson. This is not only the most popular green grape, it's also the most popular fresh eating grape, period. The jack of all trades grape is the Concord grape. This grape can do it all. It's used fresh to, eat. You can make wine with this grape, along with jam and juice and jelly and candy. This grape is what you've been tasting all this time in generic grape-flavored whatever. Lastly, a personal favorite of mine would be the Ruby Roman grape. This grape is the alpha chat of all grapes. It has a brilliant, we'll say ruby color and such a curvaceous shape to top it all off. These enticing, alluring, magnificent grapes are grown in Japan, and they can get quite expensive. Once, during an auction, a bunch of these grapes were sold at $400 per grape. There are hundreds of different varieties of grapes, and each one's a bit different. Usually, fresh eating grapes are devoid of seeds, but you should try and look for seeded grapes. Grape seeds have antioxidants, flavonoids, and melatonin. Pretty good for you. Next up, we have geography. Now this may shock you, but only 27% of the world grape population is used for fresh eating. A staggering 71% of grapes grown in the world are used for vine production. That's right, 71% of all grapes grown are ultimately turned into booze. Lastly, the remaining amount, which if you can do your math is 3%, are used as dried fruit and grape juice. I love raisins, but I cannot stand grape juice. China is the top producer of grapes, producing about 15 million metric tons of grapes each year. China is closely followed by the US, which produces about 8.5 million metric tons. Ironically, grapes are thought to have originated from the Middle East, but only Turkey makes the top 10 list as far as grape production goes. Next up, we have wine. Grapes and wine simply go together. It's like Pikachu and Pokemon. You can't have one without the other. No, really. Yeast naturally occurs on the skin of grapes, and this led to the discovery of alcoholic beverages as far back as 6000 BCE. That's right, we've been alcoholics for a while now. Two types of wines are generally made from grapes, red wine and white wine. Red wine is typically made from either the, and excuse my pronunciation, Cabernet Sauvignon, the Merlot or Pinot Noir grapes. The former is the most popular by miles. White wines are made from the Chardonnay and the Sauvignon Blanc grapes. Some possible health benefits of wine include their positive effects on mental health, longevity, your gut microbiome, and their ability to help combat inflammation. All of this due to their high concentration of antioxidants. It's important to note, however, that most of the research done on the possible positive health benefits of wine are based off of loose correlational data and not direct cause and effect experiments. So take all of this with a grain of salt. In fact, the World Health Organization and the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism have released public statements asserting that alcohol is not safe in any quantity or in any form. And I suppose wine is no exception, but you gotta live a little. Last but not least, let's look at the role that grapes have played in our culture and mythology. Grapes have a rich history nestled within the history of humanity. They have often been celebrated as a symbol of fertility. I'm not sure why, but yeah. And if you're Catholic or just a nerd, you know that during Mass, wine is transubstantiated into the blood of Jesus. On the other hand, in Greek mythology, Dionysus was the patron of wine and grapes. Dionysus was like the exact opposite of Jesus. Jesus was more of a staying humble and helping the needy kind of guy. Dionysus, or Bacchus if you're a Roman fangirl, liked to party it up and get drunk. Greek mythology, in fact, has an origin story for grapes as well. Apparently, Dionysus developed a huge crush on a satyr. The satyr then, of course, decided to mock a random god, and the god made a murderous bull gore said satyr to death. Dionysus, upset by the event, then decided to turn the satyr into a grape wine, and then drank the satyr's blood as wine. Dionysus was certainly an interesting guy. Funny how the same thing can become such a different symbol of different personalities and ideals. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below what fruit you want to see analyzed next. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel.